Honourable members, Madam Speaker.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in the context of goodness has appointed us of leaders and parliaments for the lesser of certain and just government humanity, we beseech you to look upon in the abundant favor these your servants, whom we've been pleased for performance of such important trust in this land. Let your blessings send upon the assembled and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation, be so just and holy manner promote your honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed their charge.
Item 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I want to welcome you to this afternoon's sitting. Yesterday, we adopted a report of Public Accounts Committee, that's local government. And we are set to receive a treasury memorandum from government. Government Chief Whip should be able to present that as soon as possible. And that was for the year ending 30th June 2021. Today we'll consider a report of Public Accounts Committee, COSASE. All these accountability committees are called Public Accounts Committees. There is Public Accounts Committee, COSASE, Central, and local government. Yes. We considered local government yesterday. Today, we are going to look at COSASE, and we'll also look at a report on UNRWA. The report that was looked at by the committee for UNRWA, that was reviewed, and it's due for presentation today. This is our part of the House commitment that we must do work for this country, and we must finalize the accountability cycle. We are doing budgeting now. We ought to finish the accountability cycle, and in finishing it, we have to have all these reports presented to the House and adopted. And as per Article 1635, we get the Treasury Memoranda to be presented to the House. Honorable members, I noted yesterday that the performance of COSASE in processing the Auditor General's reports 2020-2021 has been a cause of concern to this House. And failure for a committee to do its work is an indictment on the House, one on the committee and on the House. When somebody fails, you've all failed, and we have all failed. Out of 107 entities audited by the Auditor General, the committee has only considered 4 entities. And I don't want to say shame on us, the House, but shame on you, COSASE. It is you people who have failed. We have invested a lot of money on the committee. You get money from all the committees. I mean, like any other committee, we have put money in that committee, but we have not got results. Article 1635 of the Constitution grants this House 6 months to consider and pronounce itself on the report. The 6 months have passed. The report is not ready. The reports are not ready. Even if we gave you another additional 1 year, you may not be able to finish. You may not be able to finish that. And based on that, we are going to adopt all the reports that are pending under COSASE, because the committee that is headed by a leader of opposition has failed to produce what we expect of them. But we need to help this country, because we need to take actions taken on what the auditors found out during their course of work. I want to ask honorable members, while we do all this work, let's not just play to the gallery. Let's do work. Even the Bible says we shall know you by your deeds. And we want to know you by your deeds. How many reports have you presented? What have you done? What are the motions that you've passed? And rules 216 of the rules of procedure are very particular on the documents that are in committees. And these documents that are in committees are a property of Parliament. Nobody is obliged to give out information that is not yet passed by Parliament. I am warning the chairpersons and the clerks for the act that they practice in giving out information. That is a total breach. We will not tolerate that as Parliament. Do what you're supposed to do and leave what you're not supposed to do. Honorable members, based on that, we are going to adopt all the reports and hand it over to Finance for a treasury memoranda. As people's representatives, we have been seeing a lot of information, a lot of articles regarding NSSF. We need to find out from the Minister of Gender whether the savers' money is safe. We need a report. We need a report in this House from the minister tomorrow, giving us the status of savers' money and telling us what is the fight about. We see a lot of fight on social media, but we need that sorted out because it is endangering the people's savings. Once more, I want to thank you. Thank you for coming. Yes. On my communication,
Yes, on
can
your
I start with Alan?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And thank you for commenting or mentioning about the workers' fund and specifically about the scandals, the social media about the savers' money. Like when you see the minister, Honorable Betty Among, asking for 6 billion from the fund, sincerely speaking, it is unbelievable. And the Secretary General of Free Trade Union, Honorable Rwamoki.
Honorable, we may not confirm really whether she asked for 6 billion, but what is being reported. That's why we need that clarification. Eh?
Okay. Like in my conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the bad publicity arising from the scandals unfolding at the Workers' Fund could as well discourage the potential voluntary savers. I therefore pray, I concur with you that the minister presents the report, or even the Committee for Gender and Labor Social Development get interest in this matter. Thank you, Madam
Thank
Speaker.
you. Macho, Honorable Semujo. I'm coming.
Madam Speaker, I really want to apologize for calling for a procedural matter when you are communicating, but I was banning because it looked very, very funny that you were communicating and my side where we have the law and his cabinet, nobody was there at that time. But Madam Speaker,
At least I saw my son Masava. Masava was there, Tikins was there, Macho was there, Elope was there, Honorable Bed, everybody was there.
Madam Speaker, I want to appreciate your communication. Value for money of committees vis-a-vis the work given. Madam Speaker, it disturbs my mind that out of the 170 entities, only 4 entities were handled by the COSASE committee. And this makes me have understanding and also to question myself whether always opposition, when it is allocating these people or honorable members dockets to chair, they first evaluate and track the record of how they have moved. These are very sensitive positions, and it is in my prayer, Mr. Lope, since you are here, that you communicate to your principals that we have people who were very capable, like Honorable Bedi Bwanikas, they are here. These people would have been able to handle such dockets. Because as I talk now, Madam Speaker, it might be that in the 4 entities, all the money might have been spent. Now, where does the taxpayers' money carry value? Where does it carry value? At the same time, I pray, Madam Speaker, that such matters we are discussed in the House when those particular chairpersons are there. That's why I was interested if the chairperson of COSASE was here. Because one time he was on, I saw him on the television complaining that he has a lot to talk in Parliament, but he's not given time. Why does he have time to go on social media and we have the House of Legislation here? And I believe the chairperson of the COSASE must have ran away and he's not in the country because we are discussing his report. He must have been here. All my colleagues who were there during the 10th Parliament, you remember the days of FDC. It is very important when you are a chairperson of a committee, you must always come early. That is the decorum. That's respect to the House. That is respect to the House. That is why you always chairpersons of the ruling government, NRM, they are always in the House. And Madam Speaker, with that concern, I pray that Uganda should have a strong opposition. NUP should change from being activists to a political party because we need to be changed as
Honorable
government.
Honorable Macho, let's not go into political parties. When you're in this house, you're all members of parliament, irrespective of the party you belong to. Whether you know FDC, I was a vice chair of that committee and I was a FDC. And I was very active. So withdraw.
Madam Speaker, since we have a capable law and with your order, I want to withdraw. But as
Thank
as
you.
a political party needs to be serious to check the regime in power.
Thank
Madam
you.
Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, as opposition, really, maybe has not brought it in a better way. Your work is to check the power, the party in power. That's what you're supposed to do. That's why you're responsible for accountability committees. Now, if you're not checking this side, then what are we doing? And as you have said, value for money audit, we are checking other people, but we don't want to be checked. I am going to ask for an audit. And Lob, I am going to ask for a value for money audit on your committee. Kosase, Park Kosase. Yes, Honorable Semuju.
I want to thank you.
The other accountability committees have presented their reports and they are doing well.
I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. And I want to thank you for inviting the Minister for Gender. And we'll wait the details. But my concern, I don't know, but I need guidance from you on how the government is running. Is this government run by President Museveni and his brother and children? Because a minister of gender writing a letter saying he's in Kapeka, appearing before General Salim Saleh. And Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, we have had problems even here with MPs. The other day I saw MPs from Sebei cited that they are promoting Muhoozi Kainerugaba is going to in Sebei, and Honorable Chemaswet was there at a press conference. We need to know, Madam Speaker, whether this family is running this country as a family or we have a head of state. I don't know whether the Minister of Gender coming here will also resolve that unofficial running of the state by the relatives of the president. Finally, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Semuju, was it out of my communication?
Madam
No,
Speaker,
I'm just asking, was it out of my communication?
You said the NSSF should come here tomorrow. And part of the problem is that you're inviting a minister, yet the minister is also appearing in Kapeka. So I am wondering if you are going to get Kapeka to appear here. Because that's where the real problems are. That you have a head of state who is running the country together with his children and brothers. Madam Speaker, finally, the issue of...
Honorable Semuju, you wanted a president to run this country with you or with who? Your wife, your children?
Madam Speaker, this parliament...
MK is the general in the army.
Madam Speaker, this parliament vets ministers every year.
By the way, we vetted Janet, Mama Janet, we vetted her.
I don't want to comment about how you will stop me because after vetting her on Zoom, she has never appeared. But Madam Speaker,
Honorable members,
I
Honorable Semuju
am
has been
seeking
away.
your guidance.
He has been
I am
away
seeking your guidance.
and he needs to register his presence. Can you finish? You finish. Finish.
No, Madam, I needed guidance. I
guidance.
needed guidance. Whether when you summon a minister, because you see it is easier. We had trouble here with Namuganza. The rules say you write to the president. But the ministers are also appearing before Salim Saleh. So
It is actually not the rule, the constitution. It's the constitution. Honorable Semuju, I have asked, actually not asked, ordered and directed the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Gender to come and present on matters regarding NSSF tomorrow. And they have to be here tomorrow. Me, I am not aware of Kapeka because I've never been there. So I don't know anything about Kapeka. Yes, Honorable Atkins. Procedure? Hey.
Right now, Speaker, I'm raising on procedure matter. And indeed, these are areas where we have directed long ago. Sometime back, I raised the issues of grade 3 teachers here, which is being phased out. And as we talk now, there's another.
I thought you're responding to the communication from the chair. You will bring that issue after communication from
most
the chair.
obliged.
Yes, on communication? Yes, let's.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, Happy New Year, and I'm happy to see you in the new year, and my Happy New Year, my honorable sisters and my honorable brothers. Madam Speaker, this parliament should pray hard that Jesus does not come tomorrow, because I don't see a possibility of one of us just making it to heaven. And just because of your communication, Madam Speaker, corruption is bleeding this country to death. Just from the IGG report, 2022, 23 trillion shillings is lost to corruption, with 1 trillion lost to procurement fraud alone. Madam Speaker, we represent communities, and in our hospitals, we don't have medicines. We can't pay our teachers, we can't pay health workers, but we find money that is lost to corruption. Madam Speaker, this House owes you a duty. Restore, preserve, guard, protect the Constitution. And Madam Speaker, if we can put our foot down and roll up our sleeves and join you to fight corruption, then I don't think we have work here. Madam Speaker, this country, and among those reports piling and gathering dust on shelves, 8 cows or animals or cattle cost 5 billion shillings. In other words, each cow or each animal went for 625 million. Madam Speaker, I think we need to activate our systems. And I totally agree with you that this cannot be business as usual. We have to do things differently. Otherwise, we're letting down our country. Madam Speaker, very finally, every time you sound your identity in any international airport and you say you're Ugandan, people are a little bit careful because of the ranking, corruption ranking or corruption index, our place in the corruption index. But I think we have a duty, responsibility, and obligation to reverse that trend. Madam Speaker, as I sit down, it pains me that in Kenya, a road to the airport that is 8 lanes, 4 that way and 4 the opposite direction, cost half of the 4 lane that we have here. So every time you look around, you have corruption all over the place. But I think our major role as members of parliament is oversight. And the moment we abdicate on that role, we have no job here. Madam Speaker, you have our full support. And we are not gonna allow any blackmail on our speaker. Every time she calls us to do our job, we are all over the media, trying to blackmail her on TVs and radios. Madam Speaker, you have our support, and we will leave nothing and all stone unturned, looking at people turning our country in a big joke internationally. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Procedure.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on a procedural matter. Right Honorable Speaker, in your communication, you told us about one of the accountability committees, that is COSASE, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, when you compare the tone that is spoken during the meetings in the accountability committees and the report is lukewarm, the tone is very strong during the session. When the report comes out, Right Honorable Speaker, it is very low. Right Honorable Speaker, would it be procedurally right? Since now that I am talking, and even the chairperson of the COSASE committee is in the house, that we give him an opportunity, Right Honorable Speaker, maybe to tell us as the house why this has really happened, that it is one of the accountability committees that has performed lowest and that has not delivered and that has no reports. Right?
Honorable Silwanyi, we made a ruling to that effect. Okay? And we are going to get a report of UNRWA from the chair of the committee. So as we wait for the report, Lopa, I will give you a chance to talk. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, right Honorable Speaker. During the 10th Parliament, much as we talk about corruption is all over. And the corrupt target Parliament. And that is a fact. What I have observed over time is that it is these mafias now, they have to see how to approach the different leadership of committees to ensure that their wars are concluded here in the Parliament. And this is a fact. Actually, I personally, as a member of COSASE, I lost interest in the committee because I could no longer see value of my time and integrity. I could see whatever is being run in that committee. There are so many underhands. So
Chair,
I felt very—
Alex, are you insinuating that there was corruption in the committee?
Of course.
Do you have evidence to that?
Right Honorable Speaker.
Do you have evidence to that?
Yeah, the time will come, I will unveil the facts here. I will come and unveil the facts here. Because I'm not talking.
When do we expect, if you don't have evidence now, then you should withdraw that statement? Because
Okay,
to the
right
best,
Honorable. Right
I am
Honorable.
communicating. If we don't have evidence to that effect, then you withdraw your statement. Because for me, I don't want to be seen that my chairpersons are corruptible. No. But if there is no evidence to that effect, withdraw it until you have evidence. Then you come and lay on table.
Okay, Madam Speaker, I withdraw because I don't have the evidence right now. I withdraw that statement. But Madam Speaker, I want Madam Speaker this
Can
to
I
go.
have order?
Madam Speaker, I want
to
this.
laugh, you go and laugh in the corridor.
Madam Speaker, I want this to go on record that you are members and chairpersons of this committee, they are vulnerable corruption like any other person who holds a sensitive office in this country. So we cannot rule out that fact, and we shall look for the evidence. It will be unveiled when time comes. But Madam Speaker, the manner in which business of these committees, the case of COSASE is being conducted, is something that we need to interrogate and resolve. Because the committee.
Are you a member of the committee?
Yes, I'm a member of the committee, madam.
Honorable members, you know how to resolve issues of the committee. And can we leave that to Log? Log, that committee is under you. And there are issues that they are raising. You have it resolved. We don't need to discuss it here.
Let me conclude my point, Madam Speaker. I thank you for your ruling, and I am glad you have ordered for an audit of the performance of the committee, and I'm sure there are many facts that will come out arising from that fact. What I would need is we need to protect and keep the dignity of Parliament. Parliament is not a persecuting organ. We are not here to persecute individuals, but we are here using the parameters of Parliament to protect the law and appropriation of resources and safeguard the country. But we should not come and be high-handed because we are in powerful positions and take advantage of being in such a position. I beg to move.
Thank you. Honorable Kwizera.
Right, Honorable Speaker,
Workers,
thank you
I'm
very
coming.
much. Arising from your communication and from what the honorable members said, honorable members, one member of parliament should not criminalize the institution of parliament because we have the rules committee which can investigate anything that has happened. Second, honorable members, who owns these committees? When I was in the 6th parliament, committees were, yes, experiment. Committees were owned by the members of the committee, and they would check the leadership.
Honorable member.
But now,
listen to an advice of an elder.
But now what happened is that
This
the
man
leadership
was even in the 4th parliament.
But the biggest challenge we have as a parliament is that the leaderships are imposed irrespective of integrity and the capacity to lead these committees and the ownership. And even the reporting system becomes a problem. So it is high time that this parliament, in its wisdom, checks through who leads the committee, because parliament performs through Article 90, such that the committees are not appointed by foreigners. You find someone, you are in a committee, they say the chairperson has been imposed on you, even without.
Who are the foreigners, Honorable Kwizera?
I mean, those who appoint committees in parliament are not members of parliament.
Government
There is
chief
a sec.
Listen, government chief whip brings a list of
From where?
From among the members.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I ought to think that
Honorable Kwizera,
in the appointment.
Honorable Kwizera, there are no foreigners who choose committee chairs. Unless if you're saying I'm a foreigner, Honorable Bua is a foreigner, Honorable Lope is a foreigner. We are the ones who decide
Can
who
I
is the
justify
chairperson.
what I was saying? I am not talking about foreign in terms of sovereignty. I am talking that the members of parliament here have very little say on the committee leaderships.
But your whip has a say.
But
and the commission.
what are the qualifications?
Of
Influence peddling, yes. I
By
thank
the
you
way,
very much.
what is the qualification of being an MP?
Senior 6.
So why would you want somebody to be more qualified than that?
But performance.
Margaret, I mean, workers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you so much for your communication, particularly where you talked about, you summoned the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development. And I want to inform you, with due respect, I want to inform the members that the whole of last week, we were awaiting for the Minister of Gender. She was on our program, but she didn't appear for a whole week. That's in the Committee of Gender. We waited and she didn't come, but she had appeared in the media and had a lot of issues that he wanted the world to know, particularly Ugandans to know about, and that there was something wrong. She was the one who took even the initiative, according to what she was talking when she met the media, that she's the one even who asked the IGG to come in. I was so appalled yesterday when she was saying that there's nothing wrong and everything is smooth. I thought they were double standards and it's unfortunate. So I'm so happy that she will be here tomorrow because of your request. This is money that is hard earned from the people of the workers of this nation. And when we see that things are happening today, they are blaming one another, then something has gone amiss. So I'm very happy that she will appear tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, government. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation from PADE, ABIM, Multipurpose Electrical Cooperative Society. They are represented by Honorable Akelo Beatrice Akori, or represented by Honorable Court John Amos, and from Agago, and represented by Honorable Anua Rick Richard and Honorable again David. You're most welcome. Kindly join me in welcoming them. You sent us very good members of parliament. They are very active. Send them back again. Love.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I take in good faith your communication relating to the work we do in the opposition. I contend that this parliament is not seeing the opposition heading committees for the first time, and they do appreciate the challenges of these committees. Right Honorable Speaker, I would love that we administratively deal with backlog, because I sense that an omnibus adoption of the reports may not solve the problem at hand. But I'll request my team of committee leaders to retreat, and we find a remedy. We try to appreciate what is pending and what has not been handled at all, so that we can deal with it within the little time available. Secondly, we need to understand that these committees are headed by the opposition, but they are committees of parliament. 99% of membership is from the ruling party. And when their work is curtailed, it's an indictment of all. Certainly, leadership is very key, but all of us must work to make sure these committees perform. And nobody should try to curtail their work because the head is the opposition. And I'd like to ask my brother, the Honorable Alex Luhonda, to be calm. He was the chairperson of a committee in the 10th Parliament, the Committee of Trade. Remember? And was disbanded. So we need to be courteous sometimes, the way we deal with each other when we are handling these matters. Yeah. So courtesy is the name of the game. So we need to really, the speaker's communication was intended to align our work. I don't think the speaker intended to malign any member or a leader of a committee. So the honorable member needs to take a breath and understand that we are here to serve this country beyond our individual interests. And therefore, courtesy is very, very important while dealing with these issues. Thirdly, right from the speaker, we can deal with these challenges. And one of the issues we need to handle in the business committee to finally deal with case the issue of backlog is how much time we gazette for these committees. That probably could deal with the problem in finality, and also in-house counsel each other on how to deal with external pressure. At least I've been following my committees and their leaders. I can firmly say that my leaders are safe from any external influence because I follow them routinely. We held a meeting with the speaker. The commission even hired some support to try and align the work of these committees, all in to ensure that the reports come out. So if the reports are not coming out, maybe, right, Honorable Speaker, the House may have to evolve a framework of dealing with the Auditor General's reports, because in my personal assessment, these reports too have issues. Take an example. Over the last 2 years, probably 3, if I'm not mistaken, there was a migration in the budgeting framework from sector-based to program-based. And the program-based kind of budgeting and reporting requires that there is emphasis on value for money. But the Auditor General is still producing templates of the same funny reports, and therefore committees are struggling to hold these people accountable. So have we migrated? Perhaps we need to, the Minister of Finance should be interested in whether we need to cause amendment to the Public Finance Management Act, including the Audit Act, because we never did away with the Audit Act. A few things are not coming out well when it comes to program-based budgeting. I know the people at the front bench are enjoying it because Parliament is failing to undertake proper scrutiny. Some ministers, I'm saying some on purpose, even some ministers do not understand program-based budgeting. Some members of Parliament do not understand it. So they are struggling. I am following committees dealing with the BFP and midterm performance. They are struggling to adapt and adopt. So, right, Honorable Speaker, we need to have an in-house to understand the migration of the way government is running, so that the executive does not have their own turf, and then we fail to follow what they're doing as Parliament, because then the reports will not come out the way we need them, Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, I want to ask for your indulgence, and we do an in-house to find a way of dealing with the pending business of the House. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lord. We'll continue doing capacity building on the migration, on the members, on even the ministers and everybody. It's not an easy thing, but at the same time, we need to complete the accountability cycle. And because we have to complete the accountability cycle, we will adopt all the reports today. And after adopting the reports, we will have a meeting. Tomorrow, I'll give you another report, another booklet of all the reports for accountability committees. We can now sit from there and agree how you should handle it. But remember, these are for a financial year. Now you're going to approve a budget before you finish what was there. As an accountant, I appreciate what you're going through because you're not an accountant like some of us, but we have to go through an accounting process and close the cycle. And because we are closing the cycle, we'll adopt your report. Then we go back for window management rule and sort out ourselves. Whip.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And from your communication, Right Honorable Speaker, on issue number 1, the directive to the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, I have already relayed your directive, and the Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, the Honorable Betty Amongi Akena, has affirmed that she will be here tomorrow to present a statement in form of a report of all that is happening in the National Social Security Fund. Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Ruonda Alex. Honorable Ruonda Alex.
Honorable Whip, Miss Uganda is becoming, what is the problem? You
Right
see,
Honorable
today,
Speaker.
today she's even putting on a mini skirt.
Right Honorable Speaker, whatever we say here is recorded. Yes. And that's why I wanted the Chief Whip to remember that the Minister of Gender, Social and Labor and Social Development is known by parliamentary records as Honorable Betty Amongi Ongom. There is no Akena yet. So just for record purposes, because I know the Hansard will have problem with your additional names. Thank you.
Honorable, much as we had those names on record of Parliament, upon the marriage, she got the name of Akena.
Thank you so much. That matter is settled because it is a known fact that the Honorable Betty Amongi Ongom is legally married under the laws of Uganda to the Honorable Akena Jimmy Michael Obote. Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Ruonda Alex made an allegation that mafias approach different leaders of committee. This was a blanket allegation, and I know a big percentage of parliamentary leadership in terms of committees is designated by the government chief whip. And I want to state that, members, in principle, we have a duty and obligation to defend and protect the sanctity of this parliament called the temple of legislation. Whatever we do has a direct bearing on the integrity of this house in principle. And I would want to call upon him, if there is any committee headed by a member of the National Resistance Movement, please provide that information to the Office of the Leader of Government Business and the Office of the Government Chief Whip. There was also an allegation, Right Honorable Speaker, that the leadership of the parliamentary committee is imposed.
There's information.
Honorable members, I am well informed. The difference between the
Honorable
6th Parliament
Honorable Whip
and the 11th Parliament.
Honorable Whip, please take the information.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I actually wanted to help the whip that in regard to the utterances of my honorable colleague, because I'm a member of that committee, it of course has far-reaching impact to the committee and to this house. We could be having challenges, but not issues of corruption. For example, Right Honorable Speaker, when we're handling one of the institutions, Uganda Airlines, Honorable Hunda and the team are on record have gone to the media, terming it as a total affair. Yes, saying that this is one of us from Toro, don't touch her. So it cannot be the same Ruhunda indicting all the members of COSATSE as if there is anything wrong. I think Honorable Speaker and honorable members, for some of these issues, we need to be more careful, especially for some of us who are still growing our career. And I would request Honorable Speaker that Honorable Ruhunda goes on record to officially withdraw.
No, he did.
Yes, he
You
did?
withdraw.
Oh, I was very
Honorable
disturbed. I was
members,
very
I want to put this on record. For the 2 years we've been in this seat, we've not got any information of corruption from any chairperson, be it opposition or ruling government. The chairpersons are not corrupt, but some are lazy.
Right, Honorable Speaker, now that you have affirmed, would it be procedural right for us to
By
expand?
the way, when you look at me talking about, Joel is my very good friend. But I am saying, Joel, you've not done what I expected of you. You've been a little lazy. Out of 100, and me, I'm speaking from facts. I have reports that have been laid on table. Out of 211 reports, I have 107 pending. What are we doing? That is an indictment to the institution of parliament. Yes, Government Chief Whip.
Right, Honorable Speaker, now that you as the leader of this institution has affirmed that you have never received an allegation of corruption, may I move under Rule 229, expunging from the official record the allegation made by the Honorable Ruhunda Alex be expunged because it states, where the Speaker is of the opinion that the words that have been used in debate are defamatory, indecent, unparliamentary, or undignified, the Speaker shall order that such words be expunged from the official record of Parliament. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
How do you expunge what has been withdrawn? He withdrew the statement and he even apologized.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I can stand here to withdraw, but the record has already captured. Expunging means deleting from the official record.
It was done. Actually, you need to apologize to your member. Honorable Segona, matters of national importance. Honorable Segona.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On a matter of national importance, I rise to report on a matter that relates to land evictions, which have been variously discussed in this parliament. In a place called Kakunyu in Wachiso. Right Honorable Speaker, where a whole village of over 2,000 people was evicted by a one Dr. Kagwa, causing villagers that have been in the village in terms of generations for over 100 years to live with their property destroyed, graveyards, some destroyed and others abandoned. Those people went to court and obtained an order to reinstate them as lawful occupants on the land. And upon getting that order with the assistance of the Minister of State for Lands, Honorable Sam Mayanja, the police was requested to provide security to ensure they are reinstated by the RDC of Wachiso. The Honorable Mayanja wrote to the RDC to assist in the execution of that court order, and also wrote to the Inspector General of Police to provide security, and it was agreed that that would be complied with. On the date of reinstatement, the police that had otherwise been provided to guarantee execution was ordered to move away from the premises, and the evicting party brought Saracen guards who are guarding the place to date. The residents have again approached the police, which has said they will not allow them this time round to cause violence. Two incidents of particular importance.
Right Honorable Speaker, one of the families that own a burial ground on the land lost a child who cannot be buried and have kept the child or the dead body in the mortuary for a week now because they cannot access the burial ground even after winning a case in court. Number two, an old man called Chimuli Christopher, estimated to be 110 years, was evicted, and up to now, he has to go around begging for people to rent for him in the nearby town. Another old woman, aged about 90 years, called Zabeti Nandaula, was also evicted and is begging for rent, even after winning in court. Mzee Paul Segane Chimuli, about 75 years, was equally forced off the land and has lost a paternal auntie who could not be buried on the same land. With your permission, I will lay on table the court order, as well as the clearances from the police, which now the police has turned around, refusing to enforce. But before that, my request is to the Ministry of Lands, particularly the senior minister now, that the junior minister has been, the Minister of State has been defied. You have always guided the senior minister to take interest and ensure that the eviction is reversed. Two, that the court order is enforced and that people are allowed to enjoy their land rights as lawful occupants. And we are not talking about people they call squatters, no, or trespassers. They are confirmed. They have been there in generations for over 100 years. I beg to move.
Thank you. Can you lay on table the documents you talked about?
Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you, and with your permission, I proceed to lay on table the decree and order warrant to give vacant possession, Vide Civil Suit number 020 of 2021, Akamada Regina Mukasa and others versus Dr. Apollo Kagwa. The clearance from the police in respect of the same matter dated 1st September 2022. The letter from the Minister of State for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, to the RDC Wachiso, Ms. Justin Babazi, dated 9th January 2023, and the later dated 16th December 2022 from the same Honorable Dr. Sam Mayanja. And finally, a letter to the Inspector General of Police from Dr. Sam Mayanja, Minister of State for Lands, dated 9th January 2023, and a petition to myself, the MP, dated 8th January 2023. I beg to lay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have Honorable Nabakova, the Minister of Lands, analyze what is happening and take action and report back to this House by Thursday. Next Thursday, not tomorrow. Together with Attorney General.
Right Honorable Speaker, I undertake to accordingly notify the Minister of Lands, but the Learned Attorney General is already here to act as directed. Thank you.
Thank you. Attorney General.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. We shall definitely act
on this. The only thing that I would request my colleague to share with me is the court order you spoke of, because you didn't list it among the documents.
It is there.
Yeah,
It's part of
we
it.
shall follow it up. We shall follow
Thank
it up.
you. Catherine. Thank you so much, AG.
Right, Honorable Speaker. With earlier notification submitted to you with regards to Rule 141, Section 2 of our Rules of Procedure, Madam Speaker, and well captured in your communication about performance of committee, would it not be procedurally right for you, Madam Speaker, to grant an opportunity as requested to the Committee of Trade, Tourism and Industry for a formal request to be made to this House at this particular time, Madam Speaker, since the notification was given?
Honorable members, I received a letter from the chairperson of tourism, vice chairperson of tourism, requesting for extension of time for reporting on the bill of consumer protection,
competition bill,
the competition bill, and museums, and we've granted permission for 30 days. So you should be able to report back to this House after the 30 days.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker. If I may lay the request for formal
Please lay on table. Honorable Ferigo, yours, I'm going to come to yours. Yours is on education. Ferigo, let's be brief really when we are bringing these matters of national importance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm raising on the matter of national importance.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay on table a formal request with regards to Rule 141, Section 2 of our Rules of Procedure of Parliament, to request that this August House grants extra time of 1 month to the Committee of Tourism, Trade and Industry to enable it adequately consider the Competition Bill 2022. I beg to lay, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Catherine. Ferigo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm raising on the matter of national importance regarding closure of Kilembe Mines Hospital in Kasese Municipality. Madam Speaker, on 2nd December 2022, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, directed Joint Medical Services that the credit line for providing medicines and medical supplies to Kilembe Mines Hospital be withdrawn. When this formation came out, the leadership of Kasese fell into a shock because we could not believe. Why, Madam Speaker? Kilembe Mines Hospital is owned by Kilembe Mines Limited. Kilembe Mines Limited is government entity. Government owns Kilembe Mines Limited with shareholding of 99.96%. So it is an entity that belongs to government. Second point why we are shocked, Madam Speaker, is that this hospital serves a population of around 500,000 people. And this hospital serves most of these sub-counties on the mountains. Madam Speaker, we are shocked as leaders of Kasese because all the women who give birth from all those mountains are served by this hospital. Madam Speaker, 2 weeks back, the local population decided to demonstrate. Why? Because it was shocking news. The matter is becoming worse. It is even becoming more of a security matter. Just last week, Madam Speaker, our area minister, Honorable Kabianga Godfrey, communicated to me that the matter is becoming more of security
Is he
concern.
is he a minister of ICT or
Yes, the
area
Minister of
minister?
ICT in charge national guidance, who comes from our place.
So he's not an area minister.
Okay, okay. He's a national minister. He's a minister from our place. That's how we take him.
On
a serious note, Madam
honorable
Speaker.
member, can you give us your prayers? We have known Kilembe was closed.
Yes, I want to give that small bit of security.
Give
Madam
us what
Speaker,
are your
it's important.
prayers? What are your prayers?
Prayer number one is that this being an emergency, this decision was taken even when we have patients admitted, we request that this decision be reversed because it is about lives of our people. Number two, Madam Speaker, I want to request that the Committee of Health take interest into this matter. Let's come on ground and really appreciate the plight of our people. I beg to submit, Madam Speaker.
Honorable, what was the reason of closing a hospital?
It's very funny.
Information.
You don't switch on a microphone and start saying information. You're raising the same thing. We would need a hospital operational. Can we hear from the minister? Honorable Minister, did you close the hospital?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, allow me first of all to wish you a Happy New Year. And to wish you good health and blessings as you steer this Parliament, August House in this year 2023. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, all of us, and as you have said, what was the reason of closing up a whole hospital? I do share the pain of my colleagues and the people from Kasese. Right Honorable Speaker, the facts are the people of Kasese and my colleagues in this August House, they are aware that there have been very many floods in that area. And these are facts on ground. I am happy that has called in the Committee of Health to go on ground. Therefore, Madam Right Honorable Speaker, colleagues, following the repeated flooding and destruction of the Kilembe Mines Hospital by water from River Nyamamba, health service delivery was reallocated to the other health facilities. That was step number one. River Nyamamba, everybody who comes from Kasese, you know what the damage is, everything flooded, the whole hospital flooded. And what we could do as a ministry in the immediate was to reallocate all other health services to all other health facilities within the municipalities where the community has been accessing care. We have met with some of the members from this area to ensure availability of medicines in the operational health facilities. Ministry of Health approved the reallocation of the essential medicines and health supplies and credit line budget from government to other private not-for-profit health facilities within Kasese district, and that they are handling the patients. That was the immediate concern we started with. And among of these entities and facilities was the Uganda Catholic Medical Bureau, which is the biggest with health facilities and all equipments that were within Kilembe Mines Hospital. After flooding, we as a ministry, we entered into a tripartite agreement between the Ministry of Health and Kilembe Mines Hospital and the Uganda Catholic Medical Bureau, which expired in May 2022. The honorable colleague is well aware of all other issues between Kilembe Mines, the Ministry of Health, and Uganda Catholic Medical Bureau. And this has not yet been renewed, and that there are no financial obligations for the ministry to claim the mines. We were giving in financial on top like other health facilities, but once the hospital flooded off, we had to look for the immediate. This issue has been with us, and even as I speak now, before the health committee yesterday, but one, we had to give them the explanation. The Ministry of Health, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, is under immediate plans to construct another public health center in Burembia division. We are under the finances. We are doing all our best to have another alternative. There is no Kirembe mines now. It flooded. The services are being taken to other facilities around, and we are still supporting them. And the letter that the colleague alluded to was about medicine. It was not about removing the hospital, abolishing hospital, but was to have the medicines that were going to Kirembe Mines Hospital to be distributed to all other facilities, to ensure health service delivery continues. And let me conclude on this. As I speak now, Right Honorable Speaker, we are still engaging to ensure the immediate how we can, because Kirembe Mines, as you are aware, still is under to be repossessed. So as a ministry, we found our hands now touched to carry out a reconstruction afresh. I thank you.
Honorable Minister, the contingency plan that you have in terms of equipping the other hospitals, what about the people within that area? What is the distance? How far are the other hospitals from that area?
Right Honorable Speaker, as I speak now, I need to come back and I give the nearest health center services.
Honorable Dr. Yume, Minister of, Committee of Health, needs to make a follow-up on this and advise the House on what can be taken. Committee of Health, please make a follow-up on this and report to the House. And we need this as soon as yesterday. We are giving you 2 weeks to report back to the House. Honorable Zijang.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise on a matter of critical national importance pertaining to the standard gauge railway affected persons in Busoga sub-region. Right Honorable Speaker.
Can I have order there?
I rise to engage the House regarding the suffering of the standard gauge railway affected persons in Busoga sub-region along the linear path of the proposed standard gauge railway. To be specific, I am talking about communities such as Magamaga Parish in Mayuge district, Wandago, that popular place, Kakira, Wairaka, Wanyange, Bugembe, Mpumu de Chimaka, and Ambakot touching the Nile. Right Honorable Speaker, about 3 years ago, government earmarked the affected areas for eminent domain for purposes of passage of the standard gauge railway. It has as such stopped project affected persons from developing their homes, businesses, social institutions, among others. Notably, Right Honorable Speaker, Fairland University stopped its construction. Its construction was stopped. St. Monica Senior Secondary School, Guardian Primary School, Soleil Hope Hospital, which was established to fight jiggers in Busoga sub-region. We remember that outbreak then. Kateyamba, Mpumude, Chiresa Primary School. Honorable colleague, take a chill pill, calm down. I am legislating for the people, not for you. Their homes, businesses, and social institutions stopped their developments. I have addressed St. Monica Secondary School, Guardian, and these other places, Puma de Chiresa, PAG, Pentecostal Assemblies of God Church, and 5 other churches, Airport View Hotel, 150 fish farmers in the area. Right Honorable Speaker, needless to mention, some of these institutions and individuals had acquired loans to develop their enterprises. They have since fallen prey to banks and lost livelihoods, Right Honorable Speaker. It should be noted, Right Honorable Speaker, this is not the first time that government is doing this and leaving project-affected persons in dire straits. In 2007, the same communities were demarcated for passage of the Eldoret Ginger Oil Pipeline. Surveys were conducted, property evaluations were undertaken, and the project-affected persons were instructed to discontinue any development. Right Honorable Speaker, it is 17 years down the road. The government did not compensate the project-affected persons. It did not restitute their losses, or at the least communicate to the project-affected persons that the Eldoret Ginger Oil Pipeline had flopped. To date, some project-affected persons, Right Honorable Speaker, are implementing the Eldoret Ginger Oil Pipeline. As a result, Right Honorable Speaker, jobs have been lost, education opportunities of the children who were in the affected institutions, businesses have collapsed, and suffering continues to be perpetuated by government against citizens. How do I pray, Right Honorable Speaker? Number one, that government explains what is happening with the standard gauge railway and how government plans to restitute this suffering. Same to the Eldoret Ginger Oil Pipeline. Number two, that government be compelled to pay compensation for the standard gauge railway project affected persons without further delay. Right Honorable Speaker, we are in the budget cycle, and this needs great consideration. Number three, as I wind up, government needs to explain the fate of the Eldoret Ginger Pipeline and release people to reclaim and develop their property. Because clearly government hoodwinked the people, this pipeline project is unlikely to take place. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, and most importantly, government should revisit its compulsory acquisition approach so that project-affected persons are compensated in the initial stages of such projects. Because it defeats understanding, Right Honorable Speaker, where government compensates after a long time when project-affected persons, some have even passed. I'll quote an example of Mzee Tenywa in Mpumu de Chimaka division, the head of the fish farm.
Can you conclude on your prayers?
He died due to anxiety and depression because of this government flip-flopping. So I pray, Right Honorable Speaker, that these matters be considered as matters of national importance. I thank you most sincerely.
Honorable Minister of Works.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank my colleague for drawing the attention of this House to this fairly critical matter. But I want to put it on record on the onset. The government that I serve does not hoodwink citizens. In the event that we change a plan, we communicate. We don't hoodwink. Two, Madam Speaker, allow me to commit my ministry to come and bring this parliament to speed on the progress of the standard gauge railway and all that it takes and what we're about to do to the pubs. If it is possible, you allowed us maybe up to next week, I'll be very happy to come and speak in this house. But once
Okay,
again,
you report to this house on the status of all the pubs.
thank you, Madam.
And since we're in a budgeting period, if there is no money, we could actually budget for it.
Yes, right on. Finally, on the question of the pipeline, that's the mandate of my colleague from the Ministry of Energy. And I don't know if they are not here on behalf of the leadership here. I will undertake to inform my colleague from Energy. to equally
Comment,
come.
wave, pipeline.
Right Honorable Speaker, I undertake in addition to Honorable Musa to inform the relevant ministry, which is the competent authority, to come and respond accordingly.
Wire, Honorable Vinji.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand on a matter of national importance concerning the swamp of Naigombwa, which connects two districts of Kaliro and Namtumba. The swamp of Naigombwa swamp. It connects Kaliro district and Namtumba. Right Honorable Speaker, this swamp flooded last year, and we brought it to the attention of Parliament, me and my colleague, Honorable Naigaga from Namtumba. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 17th of June, 2022, you did write to the Minister of Works for urgent attention. But Right Honorable Speaker, up to date, there is no any signal of the ministry to respond. The development, the economic progress of the two districts, because there is a lot of business that happens between Kaliro and Namtumba. So our people are really becoming very to do their business. Right Honorable Speaker, it is really painful that this very swamp, it claimed 3 people. 3 people died. 2 of them were children who were crossing from Namtumba to come to the better primary schools of Kaliro. And it was really painful. So, Right Honorable Speaker, our humble prayer is that let the minister take immediate because this time around, the local people don't have the boats they were using last time to cross and access services crossing this swamp. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Honorable Sanon, Honorable Minister, I even wrote to your office in regard to that road, to that bridge, and to date we've not gotten a feedback. Can we ask you to go to the locus and report back to this house on what action you have taken? Because how can we even write it to you and you just sit on the letter?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to apologize for our delay in communicating back. But I want to confess to you that the heap of your requests and the requests of colleagues and
They're actually not my request. I'm requesting
Directives.
for on behalf
of
of
the
my
people.
members.
Yes.
And my letter is a directive to you. I'm not requesting you.
Thank you.
That
sir.
is
Thank
your
you,
role.
Mama. Thank you, Mama. What I will do is I have a program to, after Rwenzori next week, I will be going to, with my colleagues to LLS, to Mount Elgon and to Bukwa. I will now include this one also in my leg to the eastern side.
So we expect a report next week.
Right on about this one will be, next week will be a little too early because I will be.
Honorable Minister, why don't you ask your team from Kaliro, Jinja, wherever, to go and have an immediate solution? Something immediate.
I'll do that.
Thank
Right,
you.
Honorable.
Honorable Binji, and Binji, and you have the same thing.
Thank you
And
so
we go to the report.
I thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I raise on a matter of national importance. It is regarding the plight of Kanywama Primary School, right in the heart of my constituency, Butemba, in Chankwanzi district, which risks eviction. Colleagues, 2023 started off in a sad note for the education fraternity of Chankwanzi. This particular school was served with an eviction notice by a one Tare James, who claims to be the undisputed owner of the land where the school is seated. This land is comprised in single block 780 plot 2, Kanywama Butemba. This is one of the government schools, Right Honorable Speaker, just one of the few that we do have. And if it is sued and consequently evicted, the pupils, the staff, and generally the entire community will stand to suffer. My humble prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, to the minister is that the ministry immediately intervenes to save this school in any appropriate way possible, sooner than later, because the term is soon opening, but the management is not stable. And this is a government school that we cannot afford to lose. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you.
And Madam Speaker, with your indulgence, I beg to lay on table a copy of this eviction notice from the
Attorney
legal team.
General, the
From the legal
eviction
team.
notice.
It is from the legal notice, Baraka Legal Associated Advocates, that was addressed to the school for the ministry to take appropriate action.
Please
Madam
lay
Speaker.
and give Attorney General a copy. Mukatuli, he had still on education.
Right Honorable Speaker, this is a notice to sue, notice of eviction, addressed to the management committee, Kanywama Primary School, Chankwanzi District, from Balaka Legal Associated Advocates by a one Butare. To sue, stroke, notice of cessation of trespass, and the contents of the letter. They are threatening to sue. They are saying,
Let Attorney General, can you look at that first before it is laid on table? Please sit. Members, can we finish and we go to the reports? First look at it, then you report back.
Thank you, no Speaker. No Speaker, as granted, I raised an issue here where Minister of Education is phasing out grade 3 teachers, and all teachers from nursery are required to be bachelor holders. When I raised this matter here, I gave information that most of the teacher training colleges, training teachers are out of their colleges and the colleges are empty. And Minister Kaduchu informed this house that she would come here and give us the status of what they are doing. As we talk, we don't know how teachers are going to teach in the next year, because actually those who are retiring have to be replaced. But if you want bachelor holders Who is going to train them? Who is going to pay them? And what's going to happen in those colleges you are closing? And up to now, the as was right now speaker. I don't know how members can attest to this. Most of our phones are flooded with the arts teachers promising to strike before the term begins. They have written public service requesting for their increment. And this was promised by Minister of Education. However, what we have heard from the Prime Minister is intimidating teachers, that they have to first pay policemen and soldiers, then they will think about artsy teachers. So the matters I was raising in front of the Honourable Minister Miingo, who is in front of us here, to give us information why they are not coming to Parliament to tell us what they are planning for schools. If colleges are closed and you are phasing out grade 3, whom are you recruiting as bachelors? And who is going to pay for all those grade 3 teachers to go and study for bachelor?
which my brother, Honorable Sewungu, knows very well, that was approved by Cabinet, and we are in the process of implementing that policy. And some of the activities that are taking place right now is to put in place a degree awarding education institution that will specialize in preparing teachers for this country, specific for teacher training and research. But of course, this also means that some of the teacher training colleges, national teachers training colleges, have to be phased out. Others are going to be converted into campuses for that degree awarding institution. There is no need to worry or to panic, as Honorable Sewungu is trying to create a situation, because all the teachers, it's the speaker is not allowed here.
Right now, Speaker,
Honorable Seungu.
first of all,
Honorable Seungu. How do you put an old man like that on order? No. Let him finish presenting, then you. Let him finish presenting, then you.
Right Honorable Speaker, Seungu is my student. Honorable Seungu is my student. And that's how he has been behaving since. Right Honorable Speaker, sit down. Right Honorable Speaker, I just want to assure the nation that we have a very good plan for all our teachers. They will all be absorbed in the system. Some are going to take up lectureship in this university, rather the degree awarding teacher institution, and others are also being helped to improve on their skills so that they are posted where in the institutions where they fit. Right Honorable Speaker, I just want to assure the public that none of those teachers is going to lose his job. None of these teachers is going to be thrown out. We have made enough arrangements. But as for the striking of the arts teachers, Right Honorable Speaker, I'm not aware, and I don't think there is a need to even think about striking or threatening to strike, because government has planned to enhance our teachers' salaries in a phased manner, as and when money comes by. So there is nothing really that requires any of the teachers to even think about putting down their tools. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much. Maybe we will need a comprehensive report on that issue of the transition from the primary, secondary, nurseries. We need a comprehensive report.
Right Honorable Speaker, we are preparing a document that will enable everybody in the house to be able to follow what's happening. And this document is going to be presented to Cabinet first before it comes to the House. I thank you.
Madam Speaker, a brief one. You see, we should not mislead this House for just for the sake of answering questions. I'm a professional teacher like a doctor is. I know what a National Teachers College is and the Godfrey Teachers College is. Now, when you talk about phasing out National Teachers Colleges, I can agree with you with your arrangement, but there must be a process. There is no member of parliament, no member of the Committee of Education who has a copy of the policy you are talking about. So that accusation is not correct.
The policy is not yet in place. They are yet to present it to
Madam
Cabinet.
Speaker, he said here that I know it myself, yet it's in Cabinet, and I'm not a member of Cabinet. He stated it here on the floor.
He says it's going to be presented to Cabinet and then to come. It's a progressive process.
Most obliged, Madam Speaker. But still, we have to help the minister. If he's not reading newspapers and his office gets papers daily, it's unfortunate. Go to your office and look at the Monitor paper today. Talks about teachers striking.
Honorable Kimosha.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise on a matter of national importance, Right Honorable Speaker. In the cattle corridor, we've had a severe attack of a strange disease called Clostridial infection. It attacks animals and they die instantly. I was talking to few farmers. One of them has lost so far 50 cows in 2 months. And another one had 15 in total, and they were all wiped in 1 month. And many others. It is a very serious attack, and I think it crosses over to many constituencies that deal in cattle. It's my humble prayer, Right Honorable Speaker and members, that Ministry of Agriculture urgently goes on ground to do a scientific study of this disease and infection, to help farmers on how to manage. Because if we continue on this trend, we may really be coming here for government to help to restock. My prayer is that we do our interventions, Minister of Agriculture does our interventions, they do a study and they guide the farmers on how to proceed and manage the infection and the attack. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, government. Government.
Madam Speaker, we will request the Minister for Agriculture to get in touch with the honorable member, but also, if necessary, to come and brief the House on how they are handling this matter in the cattle corridor.
Thank you. We expect a report on Tuesday. Honorable Wilson.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise on a matter of national importance concerning continuous loss of waters of Lake Kachera and the resultant looming catastrophe as the taps are running dry in Nyabushozi, in Kabura, Yantonde, and the surrounding areas. Right Honorable Speaker, the constituency I represent is semi-arid. It depends on the waters of Lake Kachera. And in December, we received heavy rains, and the heavy rains led to the raise of the levels of Lake Kachera, which resulted into forcing the bridge that connects Rakai and the Sinjiro to break, to give way. And since December 22, Right Honorable Speaker, there has been consistent and continuous gushing out and streaming of waters of Lake Kachera away, and that has resulted into the levels of Lake Kachera going down deep, 1.7 meters deep. And that has led to obstruction points from which Nyabushozi and other areas draw tap water from going dry. This is a catastrophe coming, and Lake Kachera, Right Honorable Speaker, is a lifeblood of the production and sustenance of economic activity of Nyabushozi and the surrounding areas. The effect of the continuously unhindered loss of water from Lake Kachera is of untold suffering. I accept information, Right Honorable Speaker.
Can you make your prayers? Then
My prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, is that government quickly, concerned ministries of works, UNRA, Ministry of Water, should urgently block the flow of water from Lake Kachera, and a study be done, Right Honorable Speaker, because the continuous flow of water into the Lake Victoria might also cause another catastrophe. I've been told this morning that as a result, levels of River Rizi, which is also a lifeblood of Mbarara City and other areas, have also gone down. I beg to.
Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The information I wanted to give my colleague is that this bridge is called Kanajisa. It's at the boundary of Kachera and Isinjiro, that is in Rakai district. And there is a water plant that was supposed to be commissioned this January, but due to the reduced water levels, this commissioning of Rukukuru water project in Yantonde has not been effected because the water levels have reduced. Therefore, my additional prayer may be to UNRA or Ministry of Works.
Water. It should be sent to the Minister of Water.
Water for the bridge, because the problem is with the bridge.
Water and Works.
Yeah, water and works.
Water and
because
Works.
that bridge has to be worked on so that the water levels can stop dropping.
Yes, are you the Minister of Water? Honorable Minister, can you give us?
Right Honorable, I have looked at the petition. The request is for works for UNRA. That's almost the same ministry. And then water, I undertake to direct my office from Barara to go and check on
And
this.
incorporate what Paulina said
Yes,
on the
right.
petition. Honorable Cecilia Ogwa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm actually rising on procedural matter. From the chair, and I also listened to the submission of the member of parliament representing workers concerning the debates around NSSF. Right Honorable Speaker, we have
Honorable Cecilia Atim Barbara Ogwal, Miss Uganda. You made these rules. You said once a debate is completed on an item, you don't go back reverse. And how I wish you'd bring up that issue tomorrow. Bring it up tomorrow. If you have a motion to that, you can bring it up tomorrow. But I know what you want to talk about is on the issue of governance or in the NSSF. So we'll expect you to speak to it tomorrow.
Right Honorable Speaker, I was not actually going reverse. It's the style of speech. So
Honorable Cecilia, we passed that part, unless if you have a matter of national importance. Next item.
Item 5, motion for adoption of the report of the Public Accounts Committee, Commissions, Statutory Authorities, and State Enterprises on the report of the Auditor General on Uganda National Roads Authority for the financial year 2020-2021.
Honorable members, as I communicated earlier on, we are going to receive a report, and it is going to be an executive summary of issues of UNRWA. We'll debate to it and see whether the report should be adopted or. So, Chair, can you? No. What is procedure and what?
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise on a procedure matter and I want to thank you for your indulgence. Right Honorable Speaker, as you're going to discuss UNRWA, I've really been waiting for this report to come, and it's timely that it has come. However, Right Honorable Speaker, as we are sitting here this afternoon, the staff of UNRWA.
Ferigo, if you want to talk with Senga, you can go out.
Have been given a notice, Right Honorable Speaker. Most of the staff have been approaching us. They were given notices that UNRWA is no longer going to exist, Right Honorable Speaker. And when you look at the law, Right Honorable Speaker, UNRWA was established by an act of parliament in 2006, and it became active on 1st July 2008. And this is under the Uganda National Road Authority Act number 15 of 2006. Right Honorable Speaker, by just writing and telling staff that you no longer have jobs because UNRWA is going to be merged, I mean, Right Honorable Speaker, it means that we are going to discuss a report, but someone somewhere is already saying UNRWA is not an existing authority, yet rescinding what was done by this parliament is supposed to be done again by the same parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, that is why I rose on a procedural matter. Would it be procedural right?
Thank you. Honorable Minister, if it is true, I don't know whether it is true, but if it is true that the staff are being told to step aside, you're acting in anticipation. It is this parliament that created the act that created the UNRWA, and it is still this parliament to abolish it. I don't see where you're going to take away UNRWA. And I am requesting you people, don't put personal feelings into this rationalization. UNRWA is one of the institutions that has showed that has a success story. This works, for some of us grew up with not knowing even whether works was existing. But now we have roads. So when you start saying step aside where? Are you parliament? Let it come back to parliament. We will make a decision from this house.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Enos.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Actually, the issue is not only with UNRWA, but I have a petition from staff of NEMA. They're also complaining that the board and executive, they're implementing RAPEX in anticipation. The guidelines have not actually been exhausted, but they have already put out notices to staff that they are going to be terminated. They should start looking for alternative employment, and yet the process has not been fully accepted either by or rejected by Parliament. So I'm wondering what executive is trying to do by implementing a decision that has not been either approved or rejected by Parliament.
Avuru, and then we'll need a guidance from
Thank you, Right Honorable
the Land
Speaker.
Attorney General.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Commissioner for bringing up this issue. It is not that the staff are approaching or petitions only. Madam Speaker, this is even being reflected in the budget framework paper that we are processing. It's as if already the process of rationalization is not only on, but it's being implemented. And I thought, like you did say, that these are agencies that were created by Act of Parliament. Madam Speaker, I would, with your indulgence, request that through you, that you direct that government expeditiously bring this RAPEX report here and we debate it, and we maybe probably before we even handle the budget framework paper. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to.
Honorable Attorney General, can you guide this country on in terms of rationalization? Who has the mandate to undo what was done by Parliament? And is it right for us not to budget for this MDS? And yet this is a budgeting process. Then at the end of the day, you're going to come with the supplementaries.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I sit on the Rationalization Committee of the Cabinet. I know that no one has been given a termination letter, because we know that many of the entities that we are dealing with are entities created by acts of Parliament. My office is currently working on the rationalization bill. When it is ready, it will be brought to this house, debated and implemented. However, if that has happened and people have been requested to leave their offices because of rationalization, that would be wrong. However, if they are being reduced in their ordinary spaces of work, that's a different matter. So we would like to share, would like members to share with us these notices on rationalization. Now, the issue of anticipation, Right Honorable Speaker, and I think that is the conversation we should be having during this period. When we are budgeting and government tells you we intend to do this, Parliament can say, no, we don't intend to do that. That's the conversation. Budgeting is a shared responsibility. The executive has plans, Parliament inputs, we agree. But Right Honorable Speaker, I must assure you and all members of this August House that no action shall be taken in respect to rationalization which is contrary to the law. I beg to submit.
Information.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In that case, Attorney General, you want to tell us that what happened to Raya was illegal? That's my question.
Honorable Rea was not a formation of an act of parliament. It wasn't. AG, you have a
Right Honorable Speaker, you answered it so aptly for me. REA was made by statutory instrument, which was the preserve of the executive, and the executive reversed its position. However, UNRA is by an act of parliament. So the only way you can deal with UNRA any other way is by removing that act of parliament through the legislative arm of parliament. And what I have seen, Right Honorable Speaker, and I think that's why colleagues, we really need to share. This is a communication. What I have seen, what the honorable members shared, is a communication from UNRA telling them the stage at which they are at rationalization. But nowhere in this does it say you're going to leave your office.
Attorney General, we have got communication from so many MDS that are threatened. They are telling them you should be able to hand over because we are going to be merged. And you have a rationalization committee. Why don't you get the ad hoc committee, which we had in Parliament? Because as Parliament, we have a report on rationalization. Why don't you get the committee, which was headed by Honorable Nathan, and consolidate what was agreed from Parliament here and what you have? Because you're going to get an embarrassment. You'll come to this floor and you'll fail. You'll
Right Honorable Speaker, the process of rationalization is not a process of the executive. It's a process of the government, which includes the parliament and the executive. We have a thought as an executive arm of government. We think we should go this way and we want to come here and share that. But we are definitely, Right Honorable Speaker, and like we reported a couple of months ago, before we come to the floor with this matter, we are going to go through the various committees which are handling the various institutions.
Council, get the committee, the ad hoc committee that did rationalization, harmonize the report from that committee with your report. Because the other one is a processed report. It was even passed in the House.
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker, we shall use that committee report. We shall share with them. I will take it back to public service and raise that. We shall share with them, and all the committees, we shall do as much as we can, but we'll definitely deal with it. We'll
Thank you. Thank you. We'll expect to hear from you. Yes. I thought you brought an issue.
Right Honorable, just for the record, I am happy that the Attorney General has put a lot of things straight. But I just want to say to this House, nobody has been told to step aside. The process will all follow the legal procedures that are established in our laws. Like the Attorney General has correctly observed or guided, we will never do anything outside the law as a ministry. And if there is anybody who has any other evidence that's contrary to what I've stated, I would want that evidence to be laid here.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to begin by appreciating your guidance. As committees, we should be able to do a lot more work than we are doing. Challenges notwithstanding, and there are numerous challenges, some of which we have discussed with you, but we must be able to do more, yeah? And that's why, even with the challenges, I would like to appreciate members of my committee who are active, spare time to be able to do this work. I am thanking them publicly because there are also some members of my committee, like Honorable Alex Ruhunda, who have not attended even one single meeting.
I don't want attacks.
I'm not
Can
attacking.
we go? Can
I'm
we
just
go to the
giving
report?
feedback.
Can we go to the report? Let's go to the report.
Madam Speaker, as COSASE, we are very proud that our speaker is our OG. It gives us a lot of pride and confidence. And Madam Speaker, you remember,
She's an OG with excellent performance.
and that's what I wanted to talk about. That, Madam Speaker, you remember when you were investigating Bank of Uganda, you took over 4 months, and the Speaker Kadaga gave you an extension because of the importance of the work that you were doing. Some people could have thought you were being lazy, but others thought it was important for that time.
Honorable members,
deal with the work.
Honorable members, I want us to differentiate between an Auditor General's report, which is guided under Article 163(5) of the Constitution, that you're supposed to report back within 6 months. The issue of Bank of Uganda rose out of a member in this house, where a member said we should investigate why banks are closed. It was not out of Auditor General's report. Those are 2 different reports. And the other one, you can even take 10 months, so long as you bring equality work.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I kick off, I request to be guided, Madam Speaker, because you mentioned that today we shall be adopting all reports as they are by the Auditor General. I have 2 reports, one of Uganda Airlines and Uganda National Roads Authority, which are ready. So I beg to be guided on how I proceed, Madam Speaker.
I am guiding that you present a report of UNRA. There was a problem in the airlines, is it airlines? Where there was a leakage that was brought, that we ruled upon. We ruled upon that leakage. There was a leakage of a report. A property of this parliament cannot leak out, and you still continue debating on it. So we'll take the report of airline on the report that is presented by Auditor General is what we are going to adopt. We are not rejecting airline, but we are adopting the recommendations of Auditor General. So can we have UNRA?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Maybe again to seek a little more.
And
guidance.
we are still investigating on who leaked. And as you are aware, our staff who work with you are already on disciplinary because of that leakage. So we are looking for who leaked that report. UNRA?
I take your guidance because as you had mentioned back then that there would be an investigation. I thought maybe at some point I would also be invited, but that did not happen. But let's in the meantime move with UNRA as you have guided, Madam Speaker. So I am going to present the report of the Public Accounts Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASE, on the Auditor General on Uganda National Roads Authority. Madam Speaker, I'll start by tabling the report and minutes. As you guided me earlier, Madam Speaker, for want of time, I'll be skipping a couple of things. The introduction, for example, background of UNRA, budget performance. I want to suppose members had opportunity to read through so that we run for want of time as you guided. Methodology, we held meetings. We had a document review, field visits. Madam Speaker, allow me to go to committee findings, observations, and recommendations. The first one is unauthorized inter-project funds reallocation / diversion. Section 22 of the Public Finance Management Act provides for virements, which upon approval should not exceed 10% of the money allocated for an activity of a vote, where the virement is from one activity to another. UNRA flouted this law by not getting the necessary approval and by diverting from one activity to another more than 10% of the money allocated, in some cases diverting the entire 100%. A total of 124 plus billion shillings was diverted from the budgeted projects to other projects contrary to the above provision, leading to mischarge. There was no evidence that the reallocations of such magnitude were authorized. In addition, following the reallocation, a diversion of funds in the fourth quarter of the year, the initial approved work plan was not revised to indicate new targets for projects where the funds were diverted to and from. As such, there is no link between the actual expenditure with the project's targets for which funds were diverted. The accounting officer explained that diversion of funds was caused by the inadequate funds for planned projects. Therefore, to avoid payment of interest due to delayed payments to contractors on fast-moving projects, funds were transferred from slow-moving projects to fast-moving projects to avoid creating liabilities for government. Management further informed the committee about the need to review the PFMA to take care of these violations, and they also pleaded for enough funding to solve the problem of overcommitment on projects. Our observations, Madam Speaker and members, UNRA did not seek the necessary approval to reallocate funds from one activity to another as required by law. Under Section 22 of the PFMA of 2015 as amended, the accounting officer was required to request for an approval of the violation from the minister and show that the allocation did not exceed 10% of the original allocation, was not contentious, and that it would not lead to future liability of the vote or government. The same provision is referred to under Regulation 16 of the Public Finance Management Regulations of 2016. 2, UNRA usurped the powers of Parliament to appropriate funds in contravention of Article 156(2)(a) of the Constitution and Section 25 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2015 as amended. 3, unauthorized reallocation, diversion of funds is in contravention of the Public Finance Management Regulations and Treasury accounting instructions. The diversion also impacts negatively on planned activities, leading to failure to achieve intended planning objectives. 4, despite UNRA's assertion that the transfer of funds from slow-moving projects to fast-moving projects was to avoid creation of liabilities for government, the committee notes that the entity still incurred liabilities to the tune of 215 billion shillings. That's in financial year 2020-2021. 5, the committee noted the circumstances under which management made reallocations, but observed that diversion of funds is mischarge of expenditure, thus budgetary indiscipline. 6, the accounting officer admitted to flouting of the law and took personal responsibility for this as accounting officer. 7, the accounting officer committed an offense as provided for in Section 79(1)(e) and (m) of the PFMA of 2015 as amended, which makes it an offense for an accounting officer to divert funds without approval. We recommend that 1, the PSST should strongly caution the accounting officer for violating Section 79(1)(e) and (m) of the PFMA 2015 as amended. Madam Speaker and members, within public service, there's about 3 ways of taking disciplinary action. 1 is caution, which is a warning. 2, of course, suspension, and then dismissal. So as a committee, we think that the accounting officer should be given a warning, which will be on record in a file in regard to this matter. 2, the accounting officer should always seek approvals for reallocations whenever budget variations are inevitable, and the variations should not exceed 10% of the activity budget as provided for by law. 3, UNRA should plan for projects whose activities are ongoing and exhibit readiness for implementation. The other issue, Madam Speaker, that we interrogated was diversion of funds for employee costs. According to the financial statements, the accounting officer reported to have spent 98.3 billion on employee costs. However, a review of the payments file indicated that out of the above amount, actual expenditure on salaries and related costs was 93.7 billion. The rest of the salary funds amounting to 4.6 billion were actually spent on settlement of civil works obligations. Given that there were no arrears in respect of employee costs that were reported, there appeared to have been over budgeting for employee costs. Further, the excess funds were diverted from salary provisions to capital development activities. The diversion of funds led to a misreporting in the financial statements of 4.6 billion. The accounting officer explained to the committee that budgeting for employee costs was consistent with the approved employee recruitment plan and the existing UNRWA staff structure. As part of rationalization of agencies, the Ministry of Public Service wrote to UNRWA freezing recruitment of new staff, replacement of those who left, and those who passed on. The surplus funds on employee costs that arose out of failure to recruit were used to pay debts on capital development activities. She informed the committee that UNRWA eventually recruited when the freeze on recruitment was waived. Of course, we observed that there's a misstatement in the financial statements, which renders the integrity of the financial statements doubtful. The accounting officer spent money meant for employee costs, which is a recurrent expenditure on settlement of civil works, which is a capital expenditure, without seeking the necessary approval. So we strongly opine that the accounting officer should ensure that the reporting in the financial statements is made in line with the actual expenditure to avoid this confusion. But also that the accounting officer should always seek the necessary authority to reallocate funds. Madam Speaker, the next item is revenue performance. This performance of NTR. I'm going to skip a few things, again, for want of time as you guided, Madam Speaker, and look at observations. The Ministry of Works and Transport did not make a provision for non-tax revenues in the ministerial policy statement. Thus, UNRWA did not budget for the same. Failure to set NTR collection targets in the budget affects assessment of revenue performance to ascertain whether the forecasted revenue was realized as planned and managed as per the established laws and guidelines for development purposes. Our recommendation is that the Ministry of Works and Transport should always provide for NTR in the ministerial policy statement to enable UNRWA to budget as provided for in section 1315F of the PFMA 2015 as amended. So this is a ball we are throwing back to the ministry, because the excuse of UNRWA is the ministry, and rightly so anyway, within the law, is the one supposed to deal with this issue. The next item, quantification of outputs and activities. Again, Madam Speaker, I'll skip part of that body and look at observations, because here we were talking about failure to plan and report on the quality and quantity of activities that are implemented, which renders it difficult to establish individual activity costs for each planned output, and thus curtails effective accountability when funds are subsequently spent. Further, without clearly spelled out planned outputs, it's difficult to ascertain whether funds appropriated by Parliament and released were spent and the intended objectives achieved. So again, this was a question of a bit of disorganization, not being organized in as far as the documentation and the paperwork is concerned. And so we opine that the accounting officer should ensure that unit costing at activity level is provided to facilitate linkage of inputs to expenditure and physical achievements, which are in line with the budgeted amount. That's what was missing. So it's important that these costings are done as such. The other item, Madam Speaker and members, is implementation of quantified outputs. 35 outputs worth 2.49 trillion were quantified, and we noted a couple of things. 19 of these outputs were implemented, 14 outputs were partially achieved, and 2 outputs were not implemented at all. UNRWA did not implement the following planned activities despite having received the required funds. 1, procurement of rescue and support under the improvement of ferry services. 2, construction of 10-kilometer equivalents along package 6, that is Karugutu, Ntoroko, and Kawoya, Uhuka. 3, construction of 10-kilometer equivalents along Renkunye, Apach, Lira, Acholibu Road. 4, civil works for the construction of UNRWA offices, works for construction of Kamdini Way Station. 6, design and build of Ibanda Way Bridge. 7, rehabilitation of 40-kilometer equivalents along Northeastern Road Corridor Asset Management Project. The accounting officer explained that the non-implementation of some key activities was due to inadequate funds for planned projects, coupled with the diverting of funds from slow-moving projects to fast-moving projects. This was, however, not supported with a revised work plan. The accounting officer has also provided the following reasons for non-implementation of the sampled projects. One, procurement of rescue and support under the improvement of ferry services. The initial plan was to procure the rescue boats off the shelf. However, this was changed due to the need to customize the rescue boats to the specific needs of the different ferry routes. The customization process delayed, hence resulting in delayed procurement. Two, construction of 10-kilometer equivalents along package 6, that's Karugutu, Ntoroko, and Kaboya, Buhuka. The accounting officer told us that this was caused by delayed procurement. Then the Renkunye, Apache, Lira, Cholibu Road, there was a need to update the design, and this has since been finalized and designs issued to the contractor and works are ongoing. That's according to the accounting officer. Then the civil works for construction of UNRA offices, delayed procurement. Works for construction of Camden Waste Station. The delay was due to the need to standardize the design in line with the requirement of tripartite transporters facilitation program. And then, of course, the Northeastern Road Corridor Asset Management Program. The accounting officer told us there was a delay in approval of changes in scope arising out of design changes due to an increase in traffic along the road and a delay in approval of the ESIA for the road and sources of materials by World Bank. We observed that whereas UNRA claimed inadequate funding, the amount warranted to the entity was not fully absorbed. 227.4 billion remained unspent. Two, the committee notes that partial or non-implementation of activities implies that the expected service to the beneficiary communities is not attained and also defeats the purpose for budgeting and budgetary controls. Our strong opinion is that the accounting officer should ensure that plans are executed according to the approved budget. The reasons and excuses which they gave notwithstanding. The other item, Madam Speaker and members, achievement of intended services from implemented outputs. We have a table there. I'll just move to the observations. Some of the projects are slow moving, which has greatly affected their completion and therefore affected service delivery.
title has not been returned. And even the residue title could not be transferred. And as I speak, we actually have a land grabber on that land. And I imagine there are so many cases like that. This really needs to take, there should be an action. And I propose that it be, UNRWA should come up with a timeline. When they receive title, after compensation, there should be a timeline for them to return title. It should not be left indefinite. And thirdly, Madam Speaker, during the time of due diligence on the roads and the people who are affected, there were people who are Chibanja holders who are holding Chibanja on titled land. This particular land I'm talking about became also victim. There was a Chibanja holder who claimed holding a Chibanja on titled land and yet was compensated. I imagine that the consultation should have involved the titled owner. And there are many as that are related to the same story. So this, I think this needs to take action. We need to take action on this. That if someone claims to be a Chibanja holder on freehold, the freehold title owner should be consulted before this person is compensated. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Kathy, Christine. Then we come to this side.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the
As I
report.
told you, you have 20 minutes, but maybe before we go far, when we look at page 32, 33, on the issue of presidential directive, I would suggest that we amend and say contracts arising out of presidential directive should be handled in accordance with the law. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the chair for the report presented to this House, and I fully associate myself to the recommendations in this report. Madam Speaker, on the issue regards to delay of completion of contracts of projects due to failure to secure right to way, I want to appreciate the recommendation given by the committee, Madam Speaker, on fast-tracking project, but also setting a timeline for projects. Right Honorable Speaker, a number of times we have faced challenges with projects of UNRWA during construction of roads due to failure to set a timeline and failure to secure right to way, Madam Speaker. I think it is very crucial that through the recommendation of this committee, we need to move to the extent of setting timelines for projects so that we are able to avoid some of these unnecessary delays. Then this will put UNRWA to the right track of ensuring that they secure right to way first and move to ensure implementation of projects. Right Honorable Speaker, too, when special audit that was recommended on the operation and maintenance of Kampala-Entebbe Express Highway, Madam Speaker, when you look at the cost of maintenance of this express highway, I want to fully associate myself with the recommendation of this committee for a special audit. Finally, Madam Speaker, on Masindi municipality, UNRWA went ahead and allowed the contractor to go ahead and do extra works, which was not covered in the contract agreement, and issues of outstanding payment has come up. The committee has recommended that this issue of outstanding payment be resolved, but I didn't see any recommendation as far as the decision of allowing extra work to be done before seeking approval. Madam Speaker, I think it is very crucial that approval needs to be sought before authorizing a contractor to move ahead and start implementing. Otherwise, these are avenues that we create that gives room for people to eat money that belongs to contracts and projects. Madam Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You need to take note of the issue of land titles. How can we have titles which are not in our names? Do you own property there? We need those titles to be transferred to the names of UNRWA. That is a conclusive evidence that the ownership is with UNRWA. Or else you'll get some mafias who will come and claim for that land again. Christine?
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. First, want to appreciate the chairperson for the report. And Madam Speaker, first to appreciate you for recognizing the work that we did. I was one of the members of the ad hoc committee. And Madam Speaker, we have been wondering why you gave us an assignment. So as you said, the Attorney General should really engage with us. Madam Speaker, I want to stand strongly that if this parliament was given an opportunity to listen to UNRWA, members would really see the essence and value of having UNRWA remain as an entity in this country.
Honorable Christian, can I rephrase your statement that if Attorney General and team were given a chance to listen to UNRWA, because for us as Parliament, we listened to UNRWA through you, and we are contented with your report. That's why we adopted your report. So it is the other team to listen to UNRWA.
Thank you, Right Honorable. I hope the Attorney General is taking note of it so that when it comes back to us, Madam Speaker, we should not spend a lot of time on this. Madam Speaker, there is an issue of PAPs that was identified by the committee. My proposal is that since you directed the minister to come up with a comprehensive statement for all PAPs across the country, would also push that so that when the minister is presenting, he also brings details about these PAPs identified by COSASE. Finally, Madam Speaker, still on UNRWA, presidential directives, Madam Speaker, to some extent work. Why? Many times when the president visits our districts and we are the ones who invite him, he's also conditioned by certain factors to make certain pledges. For the case of Kumi Municipal Council, there was a section of the road the president directed should be tarmacked. And when UNRWA came to the district, the municipal authorities and the district authorities were engaged in a meeting. And UNRWA confirmed that they were going to work on and tarmac 14 kilometers within the municipality. Madam Speaker, to date, it's about 1.5 years. No action has been taken along the 14 kilometers. May I find out the plan that the minister has to support UNRWA have this implemented across the country? Thank you very much.
Thank you. The girls behind Melissa.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this golden opportunity. I am Avako Melissa Nai Magule, woman member of parliament for Yumbe district. I want to take this opportunity to thank COSASE very much for this comprehensive and elaborate report. Right Honorable Speaker, our roads have been facing challenges of the same observations that COSASE has observed. You will find out that there are terms used by UNRWA, like road under procurement, a project which is yet to be funded. For example, Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road has been under procurement for 3 years. Right Honorable Speaker, I don't know. I seek for advice from the ministry as to how long it takes for new roads to be under procurement. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, Yumbe, Zombo, that road has been under procurement from the beginning up to the, give us, at least give us a promise on that road. You have information? I hope you're not a member of the committee.
on that particular issue.
information to him.
Okay. Okay, give us information.
The Koboko Yumbe procurement started in 2015. As of today, they have just, I think the evaluation expression of, they are evaluating expression of interest. And that is one of the rest of the roads that you're working on. Could you give us more assurance, sir, dear Minister?
Have you heard, Honorable Minister? Much, Maureen.
Yes, my dear. Right Honorable Speaker.
Matchbox, yes, please.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Yes. I would want to appreciate the reports that was presented here before us. Before I put straightforward what I wanted to say, I wanted to give information to the minister that Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road. I remember in 10th Parliament that we were given money by World Bank. From 10th Parliament.
It was actually a grant.
Yes, a grant. That they were going to work on Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road. Till date, Right Honorable Speaker, there is nothing. Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, the question would be, where did the grant go? Did it come or not? And if it came, where did you divert it? Did you take to Amuria?
And then second, Right Honorable Speaker, I heard in the presentation by the chair, indeed it's true that money was given, money was allocated for Atiak Ajumani Road, and portion of that road was done. But however, Right Honorable Speaker, the road from Laropi to Afoji was also appropriated. The money was given, but I think the tsunami came from nowhere and swept the money. So I want to know from the Honorable Minister, where is that money for Laropi to Afoji? Lastly, the UNRWA only remembers us when it's time for elections. Arua City, you have abandoned your own road there. That is a Domi-Leah border point. We all know that every border point the customs we have at every border point, we collect revenue from there for the government. But for the last 5 years, Honorable Minister, you have abandoned your responsibility as UNRWA. And even we're losing revenue there. You come here and you talk big, but at the end of that day, you do nothing on the ground. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, I noticed something on Entebbe Highway Express. I've seen they are called, I think, guardrails that have been vandalized. I think people are cutting them as a scrap. They are selling them, even the wire meshes that were there. I see many of them have been cut off. So as UNRWA, you have a lot of work to do. Yet, even if we have police patrol in that place, I wondered, what time do the thieves come and they begin to vandalize our road? Last, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
This is the last one, Right Honorable Speaker. Given in the report, the chair informed us that the monies meant for other projects were relocated to other fast-moving projects. Right, Honorable Speaker. I would want to know who authorized UNRWA to relocate funds from slow-moving projects to the fast-moving projects. And then secondly, these tendencies of moving money, of relocating money to other projects will slow down. This is how other projects begin to struggle. And this is how we just dump their money at the expense of our taxpayers' money. You begin to claim that other projects are bigger than the others. When will those other projects be completed? That is my concern, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
I think the only mistake that UNRWA made was not to act as per the Public Finance Management Act. They ought to get permission from PSST for them to move money from one activity to the other. Chemonges?
Thank you so much, Madam
Aza.
Speaker.
Aza, all the people who have spoken are from West Nile. Aza now, this is now where?
Sabei.
Sebei.
Uh,
Aza, are you okay? Sebei?
Thank you
Can
so
I have
much,
Sebei?
Right Honorable Speaker. I want to support the report. I have listened to it, and it is really comprehensive, and it has touched all the issues that we go through in our constituencies. First and foremost, I also want to add on that UNRWA is doing very well among the other entities that we intend to rationalize. So, for example, as in Sabei, if you look at our terrain, if it was not UNRWA, I doubt that we could be having any road now. And again, I think what I want to comment on is the report left out something very important, which I think it should be added into. For example, in our area, when we're allocating money to maintain roads, Sabei should be looked at critically, because our area is a hill. You are either sloping or you are climbing, and the soils.
Thank you
Gerald,
for
what
the
is it?
opportunity. I'm just giving him information, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm sorry. Is my neighbor. Actually, it is the entire Elgon sub-region. It is not only Kapchora. That is it. I wanted to give you that information to Karen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my colleague. What I am saying is the entire Elgon region is a hill. You are either sloping or you are climbing. And when you come to these allocations, we always do here for our road maintenances. Even the machines you have given to districts for road maintenance, I can assure you in Sabei, for example, Quen, the one of Quen has broken down completely for the last 1 year now. And you cannot blame us. The problem is the terrain. It is working under very tough conditions. Even where you find it flat, still it is packed with loam soil. The soils are soft. And then when it comes to sending money to the districts, in Sabei, you can only maintain the road during the dry season, between November to April. But from May to November, you cannot do anything in Sabei. So on the issue of sending money on the quarterly, does not work in Sabei. We need to be sending all the money. If we are sending, we send it in November. Yes, this is the facts. That is why, yes, and a lot of money. We should actually be given 4 times what other people get. Finally, I want to thank government, first of all, together with the UNRWA, for the road that has been given to us from Kapchorwa to Swam. But we really appreciate.
Thank you.
Just a minute, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Just a minute, Madam Speaker. I want to finalize. On this road, we were given some kilometers, which was meant to support the town council roads. But our kilometers were taken to support the Riet. And now as we talk, for example, when we have 4 town councils, all those town councils are completely useless. You cannot use them because once it rains, you cannot move and you cannot connect to the main road, which we have spent a lot of money. So the main road is there, we are seeing, but our farmers cannot bring things from the village to the main road. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I hope you're taking a note. You had the issue of Uyumbe Koboko Road, Zombo, Mubende,
Thank you very much, Right Honorable
after
Speaker.
Mubende Karamoja.
Allow me to also thank the chairperson of COSASI and the members for the detailed report. I also concur with most of the members that we badly need to have UNRWA remain a standalone institution, but the observations that have been made by the committee are really realistic, and they are the very issues that our people in Mubende are also facing and various other regions within Uganda. We have PAPs on Kakumiro, on Mubende, Kakumiro, Kagad Road that have up to now not been paid, Madam Right Honorable Speaker. And we've held several meetings with UNRWA that have raised the hopes of the people of Mubende. But the hopes were watered down by their unresponsiveness after the so many meetings that we have held. Right Honorable Speaker, about the delayed payment of funds to UNRWA, we have a road that is under maintenance right now. That is from Mitiana to Mubende. And this work has stalled for quite a number of months as we speak now. And we have had a number of accidents on that road as you head to Mubende. We recently visited UNRWA with Honorable Kavanda, the MP of Kasambia, and we were given a response that they do not have money to conduct this project. Right Honorable Speaker, through you, I think to the minister and the responsible agency, we need this to be speeded up to see that this project is completed. The other thing is the Rusalida-Nkonge Road, which the Rusalida-Nkonge Road, like COSASI chairperson presented, yes, we have a number of projects that maybe the president directs that should be given to particular people. But this should follow the law, like Right Honorable Speaker, you have guided. And we see these projects be put in place. Our people were told not to develop the land anymore. Those that are on the sides of the road, they have overweighted and nothing has been given to them, or neither have we seen the road starting to be worked on. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you and beg the minister and the responsible authorities to take charge to see that we have all these projects worked on. Otherwise, I thank the committee chair and the members.
Thank you so much. Minister, if you look at these findings, the findings are recurrent from year to year. You find most of these people who were not paid PAP, were not paid PAP in the last financial year, the previous financial year. So we need to have this resolved really. Because if you put time value of money, these people need that money for them to be able to do something. Sylvia.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. On record, I am Awa Sylvia Vicky, the woman MP in Ablatuk District. I want to thank the committee for the report, but I want to give one information to Works that when you want to bid, to procure a contractor, you must have ascertained that there is availability of funds. Because you don't need to contract when you know there is no money. Because delayed procurements or delayed payments, it will accrue interest. And this is a loss to government. I don't know whether the Minister of Works is seeing that, including UNRWA. You should award contracts knowing that there is available funds. And the other one is, there are these contractors which are roads that are being maintained. Looking at the Nablatuk district, from Namalu, going onward up to Lakapil, the road is in a sorrow state. You can't pass potholes. People are getting accidents daily. And the contractor who's given that work to maintain the road, he says that he has not been paid the money. He cannot continue to work. Why did you award? And then the other one I wanted finally, Speaker, to say is the directive of the president. The directive of the president is according to the law. It is up to the technical people to apply the law. Because once he directs, you are supposed to apply the law. Either you go for single sourcing or you go for direct procurement. I don't see any problem with the directive of the president. So nobody should take UNRWA according to the recommendation. That recommendation should be withdrawn. Thank you so much.
No, we amended the recommendation and that was approved. So the recommendation was amended Let me first come this side also.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, I wish you a happy new year, 2023. We continue praying for you to keep safe. Right Honorable Speaker, I am up on the same concern of roads. We appreciate the report from the committee. And Right Honorable Speaker, I want to be specific. The road from Puranga, Pajule, Acholibu, Kitgum Road. Right Honorable Speaker, this road has been under procurement for years, I can't tell for now. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a very short distance from Puranga to Awere. I'm surprised that every time the report we get is that there's limited fund. This national cake that we have in Uganda is supposed to be shared equally. Why wouldn't we, the people per day, also get the national cake to clear that short distance from Puranga to Acholibu? Right Honorable Speaker, the President is so much concerned on the issue of economic transformation. But with the poor road network, how are we going to achieve it? When you talk of connecting the country to the neighboring countries, we see this road being the most suitable road to connect Uganda to South Sudan. But you're seeing that the short distance which we are having from Lira to reach Acholibu, connect Kitgum, Nimule, South Sudan, is not being worked on. Honorable Minister, take this as a matter of concern. This is the information taken.
Thank you, my colleague.
Honorable members, we will need to finalize this debate.
Madam Speaker, she had given me opportunity. Thank you, my colleague, very, very much. Madam Speaker, the issues of inter-country border connection is very, very important because cross-border trade will help our people as a region. Cross-border trade will help our people as a region so that it helps the issue of unemployment on the borders. That's why, Madam Speaker, I want to use the same opportunity to request the government of Uganda that Kenya has tarmacked from Kisumu to Matausi to Funyula to Suo. From Suo in Mulwanda to Lumino is only 18 kilometers. I wish that one can be connected. Our people would make a lot of money through cross-border trade. And Madam Speaker, at the same time, the road from Tororo to Mumura, to Buteva, to Busia, the Kenyan side have already tarmacked theirs. Kenyans like London. I wish this one, they are tarmacking, they work on it very, very quickly. It will boost business across Busia, Uganda, and Busia, Kenya. Thank you, my colleague.
Thank you, colleague.
Dr.
Right
Bedi.
Honorable Speaker, as I summarize, Right Honorable Speaker, Pade district is one of the districts which has given land for industrial park. And with the poor road network, I'm afraid if investors are going to take on these industrial parks. So, Honorable Minister, please, I continue applying to you. Take this serious. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Dr. Bedi, Flora.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the road which are done by UNRWA in the country. These roads, some of them are very good with wonderful road signs. But I want to ask UNRWA that every time they finish a road, they should sensitize the road users on the signs. People don't know the difference between a staggered line compensation. there is variance in the values that are given. The road, for instance, from Masaka to Mbalala, when it reaches, when they were compensating and they reached Lyantonde, the price appreciated after that. It is the same, even when they are dealing with the transmission lines. There is a problem we need to investigate, right, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Enos, are you hearing?
Yes, yes. The price changed in the Honorable Enos's price. And
No,
then thirdly,
it's about the market price.
yes,
The market price.
but
Because
right,
the land in Lyantonde may be more expensive because than the one of Bukedea.
right, Honorable Speaker, you are aware that as you come near Kampala, land appreciates. Right, Honorable Speaker. Thirdly, I want to request that the road from Masaka to Mutukula is a road that opens Uganda to Tanzania. This road takes us to our second most important border, I mean the port of Dar es Salaam, which is very key. My colleague wants to give.
No,
Yeah, the speakers.
there is
Thank you.
information behind.
Thank
How
you.
for you give information? Yes.
Oh, there is information from
Yes, because
Kyotera.
he's on that road.
Exactly. Exactly. Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I too want to applaud the chair and the committee of COSASE. Chair, listening to the presentation, I'm so concerned with the insensitivity of some of the UNRA officials. Kyotera Mutukula Road, since 2003, no proper works have happened on this road, not even basic maintenance. Currently, we are losing an average of maybe 10 plus people a week, 10 plus people a week. We are competing with these so many trucks. We are seeing the traffic of trucks. Daily, we have releases of over 200 trucks, commercial trucks, competing with borders, competing with people walking on foot, and even cyclists. Speaker, this issue has come to this floor since 2021 in July. We raised this matter, and the Prime Minister promised that works would commence. I really want to put it across again. Kyotera Mutukula is a
Honorable
pathetic state.
Minister, you've had the issue of Kyotera, Flora.
Thank you, Right Honorable, for this opportunity. I would like to know from the minister if there is any provision of emergency intervention in case of a disaster occurrence. Honorable Minister, in Kasese, Honorable Minister, 2 months ago, a road from Katoru to Kayanzi in Nyakyumbu sub-county was very badly affected by floods. Kayanzi is a learning site within a national park. There's no any other route to use to access that learning site. Schools are about to open. There's no school on that learning site. So the students come from that learning site to the outside community. For now, it has always been hard for the people on this learning site to get food and access other services. Honorable Minister, I came to your office and reported this issue, and you told me you are going to get in touch with the district engineer. Up to now, nobody has stepped foot on that route. I pray that you give me an assurance that you are going to handle this.
Honorable Minister, and is a Muko from that place.
Exactly.
Veronica, Joab.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Chair, for the report. Right Honorable Speaker, my concern is about the presidential directives and pledges. I think there should always be a time limit on these pledges that the president gives. For example, in our district, Bukomansi, we have Chavakuza Matete Road. I think we were there also when the president was making that pledge so many years ago.
And this road is very important because we have Chibinge coffee, where we get Ugandan coffee, the best Ugandan coffee that is exported outside the country. We use that road, but to access the market, even the farmers to access the market where to bring their coffee, it's very difficult. Madam Speaker, I pray, let this parliament, you order the government assurance committee to follow on these pledges so that they can be implemented and in time. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Joab. Thank you, Right Honorable Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I am Businge Joab from Masini Municipality. I want to support and thank the committee chairperson and your team for the good report. But also, in the same way, would love to thank UNRA for the job well done. In my opinion, they made a good mistake to prioritize the roads in Masini Municipality. On record, the work was not done to conclusion because some prioritized roads were not done. And the good thing, the report has indicated that UNRA is not sort of funds. So how we pray that UNRA continues to complete the pending roads, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Not a mistake now.
That is still Bunyoro.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Then in Toroko.
The report came out with one key issue of delayed compensation of PAPs affecting land acquisition, and the case in point on the Masindi to Biso Road, the 48-kilometer road which was supposed to be completed this year. A lot of PAPs have not been paid, especially those who are sugarcane growers. When we wrote to UNRA, they wrote back by saying that they don't have commercial value for the crop of sugarcane. And this has delayed compensation. At the end of the day, the road works are going to take longer than expected, thus causing financial loss to the government of Uganda. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Honorable Evander. Give me one person.
Thank you so much, the Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I also want to thank the chair and the team for the wonderful report. I also plead with members that this report should be adopted. The Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I'm so much concerned about delay implementation of some projects. Like this project of Karugutu Ntoroko Road. The Right Honorable Speaker, since 2016, this road has been on procurement up to now. The other day, Honorable Minister, I asked you in a committee, what is happening with the procurement of this road? And it's the only tarmac road that would have in Ntoroko. And given the fact that that's Karugutu Ntoroko Road, and given the fact that the Minister of Works constructed a good one border stop point in facilitating trade between Uganda and Congo. But the fact is that the road is too bad. So, the Right Honorable Speaker, I want really the Minister to tell us today, so that as people's representative, I take the news in Ntoroko that this project is not attainable. And two,
thank you.
And two, it's an issue of delay payment of PAPs. The Right Honorable Speaker, the fact is that when PAPs are mentioned, evaluated, they will know that they are not going to do any other work on that piece of land. For almost 6 years, no development. People are not using their lands because they are PAPs, which is very, very disturbing. Lastly, it's on issue of payment of contractors. The Right Honorable Speaker, the other day, UNRA told us they have 599 billion. That's the money that they need to pay contractors. And it accrues almost 300 plus per day, millions per day. 400 something per day. Interest.
It's hemorrhage. It's so disturbing, and really want to beg Parliament and this appropriation, we should add these monies so that you know pay the contractors, so the government shouldn't continue losing a lot of money. Madam Speaker, 250 or 280 millions per day. This is a lot of money which can do a lot of work, hospitals and schools. I beg to submit, Madam
Thank
Speaker.
you so much. Aza, you're older than all of us here. You're more mature than all of us here, but your conduct does not show your age. You can speak, but don't repeat that conduct anymore. So long as we are in this house, me and Taewa. Never. Have you heard? After that, you go to Mbwa.
Most obliged, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and my dear colleagues of the August House. Chair Kosase, thank you very much for the report. Madam Speaker and Honorable Minister for Works. I'd like to draw your attention, page 13, 14 of the report, under quarterly performance report, accuracy of performance reports and delays in project implementation. And specifically, project 0265, that is upgrading Atek Moyo Afoji Road, that is 104 kilometers, and a 1.2 kilometer bridge across the Nile at Laropi, connecting Moyo district to Adjumani district. The Laropi bridge project and the Laropi Afoji Road have delayed because money that was meant for the projects were diverted. It was diverted as shown by the report that, for instance, Kosasi realized that 1.8 billion was diverted, and instead 2 billion was actually spent on the output for the construction of the road and the bridge. Madam Speaker, this has led to delays.
Honorable Aza, the money which was diverted was supposed to be for that bridge.
It was a part of for
Part
fast tracking
of
the bridge, yes.
Honorable Minister,
This has led to
take note of that.
This has led to delays in the fast tracking and commencement of the construction of the Laropi Bridge in the Moyo district, thereby leading to untold suffering for the people in the issues related to transport, communication, movement of goods and services. So I'll be very grateful, Honorable Minister, if you could help us and fast track the construction of the bridge across the Nile in the Moyo district. I thank you very much.
Honorable Mbwa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to add my voice to thank my honorable colleague, the Chair, Kosas, and the Minister. I am rising just to bring to your attention one major road in Entebbe. Entebbe International Airport, by Honorable Speaker and colleagues, is not safe, and it has not been safe for very many years. All of us who use Entebbe International Airport. We have a road that rotates around Entebbe International Airport that can act as an emergency exit for Entebbe International Airport. In case of an emergency, that's the road that we all need for the safety of all Ugandans, including the president who resides in my constituency, Entebbe municipality. I want to bring it to your attention that this time we should give it priority, because a good road around Entebbe International Airport is good for all of us who are using Entebbe International Airport. I beg it more.
Honorable Gilbert.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'd like to appreciate the chairperson for Kosase for the wonderful report. Right Honorable Speaker, looking at Entebbe Kampala Express Highway, the payments for road tolls, Right Honorable Speaker, as the government, we need to be very serious. Right now, what they are charging is quite high. And wherever you are passing from that road, you must pay. Assuming, Right Honorable Speaker, assuming someone moves on that road more than 5 times, and you must pay. Right Honorable Speaker, I really pray that if it could be changed, let it be paid once. That would be far much better, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, looking at the economy, the situation is not all that good. That payment is extremely high. Two, Right Honorable Speaker, I'd like to thank the chairperson.
How much is it?
No, it depends on the vehicle. Small vehicle, 5,000. Big cars, 10,000. Trailers, 20,000. The amount goes like that, Right Honorable
That
Speaker.
is on a road toll
Yes, on the road toll.
or the express highway?
Yes,
That kind.
on the express highway.
If you don't want to pay 5,000, why don't you pass the main road?
But- Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am happy that the government has done well. When you are passing from that road is more convenience because there are no jams. There are no jams, and more so when you are in a hurry. So we are really happy for the road, Right Honorable Speaker. But we are now trying, if the government can consider, let it be paid once. If you are going to Entebbe, you pay once. Coming back, you come for free, and tomorrow you go once. That will be better. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the chairperson for bringing to the attention about the compensation by UNRWA before the contract is awarded. Right Honorable Speaker, in many instances, UNRWA or government awards contract to the contractor before clearing, before compensation, when they are not sure whether someone would accept for the rights of way. So it's very paramount, let the government clears the issue about the compensations, and then the contract is awarded. We have seen many contracts being delayed. Well,
There is a motion.
Motion.
There is a motion.
Right Honorable
There is a
Speaker.
motion.
Order. Order.
There is a motion. Made you sit. Honorable members, I have been sitting here from 2.
From 5.
For you, you're busy moving up and down like a cattle keeper. Yes, a motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, as I move my motion, allow me to thank the committee for coming with a very good report, very insightful, and with a lot of information. And members have spoken, and it has touched so many of us that, Madam Speaker, I stand to move the motion that we close the debate. A lot have been mentioned, and we need answers from the ministers because we have a lot of issues in our constituencies, Madam Speaker. In my district, UNRWA has not worked on any roads. So, Madam Speaker, I move that the debate is closed so that we listen from the minister in charge of roads. I move.
Honorable members, is the motion seconded? The motion is seconded. Honorable Minister, can you respond to queries raised?
Right Honorable Speaker, first I want to thank the chairperson of COSASE for presenting a very objective paper. The question of roads, when they are good for all of us, and when they are bad for all of us.
And when they cause accidents, they cause accidents.
They affect all of us. So I want to thank the committee for a very objective paper. I will be doing a disservice to this house if I attempted to say I can respond adequately now. I wanted to request Madam Speaker, this house, to allow me just to say a word, and then I request this house to allow me to proceed and come back with the treasury memo, which explains adequately what needs to be done arising from this report, and also including some of the issues that the members have indicated incidental to this report. And if that is okay, I want to say first on the onset to all of you chairpersons of committees and members, UNRWA, for example, is an agency of the Minister of Works and Transport. In future, if it pleases you, Madam Speaker, it would be prudent to request the committees when they are interfacing with these agencies to kindly bring the policymakers on board so that the minister is there and the minister listens in and he can be able to make an input, because some of the issues that the agency management will comment on or state border policies. So it would be okay for me, for example, if you are discussing UNRWA, if you are discussing a Civil Aviation Authority or any other agency that is under the supervision of the ministry, I want to just, if it pleases you, to request that we are made to know so that we can accompany them.
Thank you very
Madam
much.
Speaker.
On that, clarification on that. Thank you very much, Honorable colleague. In line to having policymakers participate in that meeting, there is an amendment that is so viable to this report to do with the salary discrepancies in UNRWA. UNRWA is an institution with workers earning in excess of
Honorable members, are we opening a debate afresh or what?
I'm asking.
Is that one of the issues that was raised? Is that one of the issues that was raised in the report?
It's an
Honorable Minister, can you conclude?
I will be happy to come if you allow. Already my teams were sending messages and they have given me a report that in my opinion is not adequate. And therefore allow me retreat, come back with the treasury memo, which will adequately answer all these. And I wanted my sister, particularly from Arua municipality, to know that we try Arua city. She was saying that the minister comes and talks big here. It is my height. It is my height. But I really try to do whatever it takes to ensure that I do my best. So I will do whatever it takes to come and adequately address your issues, and where needs be, I am also going to, like I said before, Right Honorable Speaker, in all our field visits, we will endeavor to come with the members of parliament so that the members of parliament can get our feelings and we hear from them, and then we prescribe remedies that are acceptable to all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Honorable Minister, when we are doing the financial accountability on matters of audit, it is always the accounting officer who is responsible. So for you to be invited, it wouldn't have an impact, because under Article 164, it is the accounting officer who is accountable. However, during the budgeting period, that's when we invite the minister and sectoral committees like the BFP now. But now we are doing a post-mortem of what was given to the institution. Are we in agreement, Attorney General? Unless you just want to go and admire the committee.
Right, Honorable Speaker, on the law, you're spot on. I think what the minister was saying, that for them to participate and just listen when these views are being collected.
Yes.
So that, but the Right Honorable Speaker, you have nailed it properly, appropriately, legally, as usual. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've also, I don't know, and I'm wondering why UNRWA did not give the committee the letter which they wrote for environment to PSST and the response from PSS2 on the environment. I don't know why it was not given to the committee, but I have a copy. Thank you. So the letter was given and the environment was authorized by PSST, but you need to respond to it in your treasury memoranda. Yes. Yes.
Yes, just a quick information, Madam Speaker. The letter that was given to us had two problems. One, it was written by the PSST. The act says minister. But two, the PSST was granting approval for a very small fraction. It was about 2 billion but then the entire environment was a total of 124 billion. So even if it was approved by the right person, it was just for 2 billion.
I have environment of 134 billion and 58 billion. I have it here.
They
So
did
let
produce
them
that
rest.
to us.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why they did not give it to you, and yet they had the record clear. So, Avuru,
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving the people of Akwach a chance to make a mention on this. Right Honorable Speaker.
you're starting the debate.
No, I'm. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the wise decision to come back to this Parliament on this number of issues that have come. But I want to bring this to the attention of the Minister and the Attorney General as they come back. In our Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Article 26, and this is in reference to delayed payments to PAPs. It states that protection from deprivation of property, and one, prior to taking possession of or acquisition of property, and a right of access to a court of law by any person who has interest or right of our or over property. Right Honorable Minister and Attorney General, there are I'm addressing both of you. They are not only with UNRWA, we have other government projects either earmarked or already being implemented. And you find that whereas other PAPs have been paid, you may find this one individual who refuses to agree with government for some reasons. And because a service has to be offered, delivered to the people of Uganda, the project cannot take on. And yet it is provided for in the law, in the number 2 that I read. I would like you to inform this Parliament as you come back how you are using the second part here to ensure that projects take off in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I now put a question at the report of Public Accounts Committee, Commission, Statutory Authorities, and State Enterprises. On the report of the Auditor General report on UNRWA for the financial year, 30th June 2021, and other reports that have not been considered by the committee be adopted by this Honorable House. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. I now adjourn the House to tomorrow, 2.